Setagaya district of Tokyo, the night of December 30th, 2000. The typical quiet before New Year's Eve. The Miyazawa family, Father Mikio, Mother Yasuko, 8-year-old Nina, and 6-year-old Rei, were making plans to welcome the new year after having dinner at home. However, as midnight approached, a scream that seemed to tear through the walls of the house shattered this silence. From that moment on, one of Japan's most horrific and mysterious murders began. Moreover, the roots of this incident would extend thousands of kilometers away to the Japanese immigrant communities in America, California. When the police arrived at the house, it was as if time had stopped. Everyone in the house had been killed. Mikio was found in a room covered in struggle marks. Yasuko and little Nina had been stabbed to death upstairs. The youngest child, Rei, had been strangled to death. But the strange thing was, the killer hadn't fled anywhere. After the incident, he had opened the refrigerator, eaten the ice cream from the freezer, turned on the computer, and even taken a shower in the bathroom. The police determined from the detergent and soap residue used in the house that the killer had stayed there for hours. He had behaved as if it were his own home. The clues found at the scene were unlike anything the Japanese police had ever seen before. The gloves left by the killer belonged to a U.S. brand. The boots he wore were a rare model sold in Korea. DNA analysis revealed that the perpetrator had both Asian and European genetic mix. In other words, he was not tied to a single country. He had a global background. The police concluded that these clues could be linked to Japanese immigrants living in the U.S. or someone who had entered Japan via South Korea. However, at that time, international DNA data sharing was limited. The perpetrator had seemingly vanished into an international shadow. This case has become something of an obsession in Japan. Every December, police officers revisit the same house in Setagaya Ward on the anniversary of the incident. The interior of the house remains closed off, preserved as if time had frozen. Relatives of the Miyazawa family, especially Yasuko's mother, leave white flowers in front of the house every year. The police questioned more than 280,000 people and collected more than 12,000 pieces of evidence. But nothing came of it. The perpetrator was still out there, perhaps living quietly in another country for years. As the investigation deepened, a striking connection was found. Some relatives and former business associates of the Miyazawa family had been in contact with Japanese immigrants living in California. It was even known that the company Mikio worked for had carried out a joint project with the U.S. for a short period. And one of the clothes found on the killer, a green parka jacket produced in limited quantities in the United States, had only been imported to Japan in a quantity of 100. This strengthened the possibility that the perpetrator had been in America. Perhaps he was an immigrant or soldier who had temporarily come to Japan, but his identity was never confirmed. Therefore, the Setagaya case became part of the dark history of both countries, an international ghost murder, part of Japan's shadow, part of America's. Today, that house still stands in Setagaya. Those who look inside through the windows can see the toys left behind, the half-eaten plates in the kitchen, the New Year's decorations. But what is felt most strongly is that frozen air, as if someone were still there. The perpetrator's DNA is still stored in Japan's national database. One day, if it matches a DNA sample taken from a crime in another country, this case could be reopened. But until that day, the Miyazawa family's final night will remain one of history's most chilling unsolved crimes.
じゃあすいません。
ということで、99年4月はニーナちゃんのお誕生日だと思います。そういう形でこう背が高くなった99年6月、99年12月、2000年8月にって書いてあるのはニーナちゃんの2だと思います。ここまで背が伸びたのに2000年8月、2000年11月に薄く鉛筆の跡が残ってますけど、それ以降は途絶えてしまってます。私は推理をしてもらいたくて現場を公開したんじゃないです。こういう狭いところで一生懸命暮らしていて、そして命を落としてしまったこの現場を体感していただけたらなと思います。こういう椅子に座ってニーナちゃんもそうですけど、私が椅子に座って、こうやっていつも子供たちと話をしたり読み聞かせをしたりしたことが、もうここに入るとやはり思い出されますし、小さいニーナちゃんが座っていたのがだんだんレイ君も大きくなってきたので、普通の椅子に座れるねなんて話しながら子供用の椅子をまだ使っていました。生活の影がなくなって、先ほど皆様にご紹介した竹比べの跡だけが壁に残っているという状態です。この公開を通じてメディアを通してこの現場の空気を感じていただき、事件解決に導きたいです。それが一番の願いです。
その電話のシールなんかはこれは
そうですね、やっちゃんとニーナちゃんが一緒に貼ったんだと思いますね。この電話で私のうちの内線電話と通じてますから、もう電話はもうしょっちゅう掛け合って、今から行くからねとか、この食事今天ぷら揚げ食べたからとか、そんな感じだったんですけど、ぜひもう20年近く前のことで過去のことになってしまうって、それを無理やり思い出してほしいって、そういうことを言うほど私はなんかそこまで言っていいのかってためらったんですけど、でも未解決です。未解決なのにやっぱり肌で感じる現場を何か壊してしまっていいのか。でまた壊すっていうことに対して警察が遺族に委ねるっていう言い方をして、そして私がじゃあ壊してくださいって、何にもしないままに壊してしまっていいのかっていう思いがあるんですよ。
合わさなきゃいけないし、そうですね。